Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope you guys are having a good one, and happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I hope you have a good one. So before I begin this video officially, I just want to say I did make a Kick account. If you would like to follow me on Kick, it's still the same name, Hoosier Normie. If you want to come and get to know me a little bit more, talk to me there, or just watch me fail miserably at video games or what have you, you can certainly do so. I'll probably be streaming throughout the week, maybe a couple hours here and there, because I get home pretty late in the evening, and I'll probably go to bed about 6 o'clock in the morning or something like that. But if you would like to come hang out for a little bit and watch that nonsense there, Hoosier Normie on Kick. Eventually, I do plan on streaming on YouTube. I just got to figure all that out first. But let's go ahead and begin. So I had decided, after thinking a couple of days, to make a top 10 video. Oh my gosh, he's going to do it. Yeah, so I was thinking the other day about all the remakes and remasters that we've been getting in video games lately, and how the games that we all want to have remastered and remade, we never get to see that. Like Resident Evil's kind of an exception. I think a lot of people wanted that, but we've been getting like Resident Evil, Oblivion. Everybody wanted Oblivion, but we had a bunch of Skyrim remasters. That was pretty annoying. We have The Last of Us, which you asked for that, and then a couple other games I can't really mention off the top of my head right now, but those are like the big ones right now. And there are a list of things that I kind of wanted to talk about in terms of what I would like to see. And these are games that I have played. I know there are going to be other games that people may have an idea of that are commonly mentioned, because this list has been done ad nauseum, and I am just going to be another statistic in that list. So the first thing that I want to see coming in at number 10 is The Witcher 1 and 2. Now, before Geralt became a gaming icon in The Witcher 3, which was a perfect game, he fought through janky animation, stiff combat, and really an outdated interface, especially in The Witcher 1. And the first two Witcher games tell a pretty critical story on parts of his journey and stuff to The Witcher 3. But I feel like most players didn't really get to experience it or even play it. And the only reason why I played The Witcher 1 is because, well, I got a gaming PC. And I don't even remember it being on console. It probably was, but it wasn't under my radar. I did play The Witcher 2 on 360, but I had no idea what was going on. So I replayed it, and I remember the combat specifically for The Witcher 2 was pretty unforgiving in some cases. You had to really strategically plan and stuff what you were going to do. The potions and stuff that you used, really, like, you had to use them, whereas The Witcher 3, it was kind of, I feel like, a pretty good balance. So I feel like if you rebuild the titles of Witcher 1 and 2 using the modern engine, you redesign the combat, and you create a seamless trilogy that flows into the Wild Hunt, I think that would bring a lot of people back to Geralt's story, especially. Now, we are getting The Witcher 4, obviously, with Ciri. Whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing is irrelevant. The game looks pretty good. I'm interested to see what they do with the Witcher universe, but I would definitely like to go back to The Witcher 1 and 2 and play through Geralt's story again, because if they do remake it, there's a chance that they could add content in there that wasn't necessarily able to be put in there to begin with. So coming in at number 9, I have the video game Prototype. Now, Prototype, you were basically a human virus terrorizing the city of Manhattan, I think you were in. It had, I think, everything you could ask for in a game like that. It had raw power, a brutal open world, and you were just a no-holds-barred anti-hero, okay? You were just, the military was after you. You were just like this indestructible force, but I feel like it was held back by repetition. The missions kind of felt meh, it wasn't too great, but I did like the fact that you were just kind of like this, I guess you could say godlike character. We don't see a lot of games like that. The AI was really dated in that game, and I feel like a remake could fix all that. I think if you turn Alex into a true next-gen nightmare, you give him smarter enemies and the destructible cities, that game could be phenomenal, and I would definitely love to see that happen. I think at number 8, I'm going to have to go with the Saboteur. The Saboteur is kind of like a mix between Assassin's Creed and GTA for me. It's a bold, artistic take on World War II. You're liberating Paris from the Nazi occupied zones and stuff like that. And every now and then the art style changes. I think at nighttime it's all in black and white, and during the day it's in color. And obviously during the night is when you're doing your saboteuring or your sabotaging and stuff like that. That game, it always still pops up in mind every now and then. I think it came out in 2009, and it was the last game that studio made. It was published by EA, but I feel like the game, if it was remade today, it can expand on the systems it had with a deeper resistance gameplay in there. You could have the reactive environments that we had, but a lot better, a meaningful sabotage system. I think the concept at the time was pretty ahead of what they were trying to do. But if they do it with the modern technology that we have now, I think we can perfectly execute that game. So coming in at number 7, I have SOCOM 2 U.S. Navy SEALs. This is a tactical shooter game, and I think a lot of people, including myself, even though I personally wasn't really good at it, but we are kind of starving for a tactical shooter game like SOCOM was. There were no crazy loadouts. There were no respawns. It was just pure tactical tension, okay? This really defined the console military realism, pretty much. Call of Duty at the time, I think, was still doing World War II stuff. They may have just came out with Modern Warfare, but obviously we know Call of Duty became a really arcadey and stuff like that, and nothing ever really compared to SOCOM except for Rainbow Six before Siege, and even then, it still wasn't like SOCOM U.S. Navy SEALs. I think if they bring it back with the squad commands, upgrade the AI, if you have a PvP that matters, it rewards the strategy and the speed, or just the strategy over speed. I don't think it needs to be dumbed down or anything like that. You should make it brutal, methodical, unforgiving. And that's how I remember that game. I got my butt kicked in that game all the time, but it was still very fun to play. It was different, and it's something I don't think we see too much anymore. So I definitely like to see a game like that resurface. Number 6, I have a trilogy here. I really more so want to see the first 2 in this trilogy be remade. But it is Max Payne. Okay, so this is a gritty noir to sunlit despair game. It's not a happy game. Max Payne's story is a personal hell story, right? The original games were pretty groundbreaking at the time, and I think Max Payne 3 just redefined the gunplay to pretty near perfection, and you saw that same gunplay being implemented a bit in GTA 5 with Michael, with his bullet time mechanics and stuff like that. I think a remake should unify the trilogy with consistent mechanics, modern visuals, which is, I think, really important for that game, and an updated voice work. It would be cool if they got some of the voice actors to come back. I don't know if they're still alive or not, but you keep the bullet time, you keep the pain, and you just make it all come together. But I would definitely love to see, especially the first 2, at least have graphics like Max Payne 3, because those games are just phenomenal. Number 5 here, okay? This game is also a trilogy, but I only want to see one, okay? And that is Fear. Now, when I played Fear for the first time, it terrified me. I'd never played anything like it at the time. Fear gave us more than just horror. It gave us combat and weight. The AI can flank you in the game. The gunplay felt pretty physical. Alma was absolutely terrifying. If you don't know who Alma is, she's kind of like this apparition, ghost girl kind of thing that you will see out of the corner of your vision, or she'll pop up in front of you, or you're going down a ladder. I remember I went down a ladder, and when we looked up, she's standing right there, and she's probably like 8 years old in the game, right? And she's just pale. She's got the black hair in the front of her face, red dress on. Absolutely terrifying. And she made your blood run cold, dude. Like, and the old adult version of her was even more terrifying. But I think this game deserves a remake with a modern horror design, smarter enemies, a better sound in the game, and immersive physics as well, because there are times where things just start flying around at you. It's pretty scary. But I think we should bring the fear back. I think it should be loud, it should be fast, and it should be terrifying. And I really don't think that game needed a sequel or a trilogy, but if they ever feel like doing that, I wouldn't mind it. I just think that the first game was enough, and it was perfect. So number 4, if you watch Game Rakes, you hear Jake Baldino talk about this a lot, and I am in complete agreement with him, and that is Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. Now, I would just like to see a Splinter Cell remake in general, or just a Splinter Cell game, because we haven't seen a Splinter Cell game, it feels like, in a very long time. We hear rumblings of one. There was a VR port they were talking about making, and I don't think anybody really wanted that. But Splinter Cell... it was the apex of stealth games, okay? I don't think stealth really felt good, has felt as good as Splinter Cell, with Assassin's Creed. Now I don't think it really compared to Splinter Cell, especially now because it's not a stealth game. But I think Splinter Cell is still the blueprint of stealth games. You weren't just sneaking around everywhere. You were hunting people, okay? You were managing the light, the sound, the tension, and it was pretty terrifying, to actually think about that happening to you. I think a remake should elevate this with advanced AI, because the AI was really, really dumb in that game. And you got to think this game came out a long time ago. I remember playing it on the PlayStation 2, and like you would take out an enemy, and another guy would, he would see the dead body or whatever, and they would freak out for a little bit, and they're like, oh, it must have been the wind, and then they would carry on with their business, right? But yeah, the dynamic lighting definitely would affect the gameplay of that as well. If they recreate the level design, that would be really cool to see. And I just want to see Sam Fisher come back and make a return, and I just love those games. And I think that if they do a true remake and they stick with the stealth mechanics, we could have a gem on our hands there. Coming in at number 3, I have Deus Ex. So this game was really interesting, okay? It was a first-person shooter game. It was an RPG game. It was a game that let you play how you think. You can talk your way out of things. You can sneak your way out of things. You can hack your way out of things. Or you can blast your way out of things, right? And I think every problem had an option to utilize to solve the problem. And the game was kind of... its brilliance was buried underneath the clunky combat and the aging visuals for sure. But I think a remake should push the freedom even further, okay? The system that involves with you, characters that remember, and choices that ripple through the story could make a Deus Ex game phenomenal. This is a kind of like a cyberpunk RPG, and I feel like with the success of Cyberpunk, especially now because of all the fixes and stuff, if we bring back a Deus Ex game, I think a lot of people who love the Cyberpunk world would be really happy to see that. I know I certainly would be, because that game was really, really fun. So number 2, this is something I feel like that's on everybody's list, but Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. I think this is one of the greatest Star Wars stories ever told. It's stuck in a combat system that aged like milk, okay? It's not great. It's really hard to go back to play this game, but I feel like it deserves more than ports and broken remakes. I think they just need to rebuild it from the ground up. The modern action, the modern combat, modern RPG elements, full voiceovers, and I think the decision system should be kind of overhauled and rival the Mass Effect and stuff like that, and make Revan's fall and rise unforgettable in a whole new era of gaming. That game was so good. But number one for me, here it is, drumroll please. The Legend of Dragoon. Now, this game really, I'm still sad about this game, okay? So I borrowed this game from a friend, and I was playing it on my PlayStation 2. I've never played anything like it. I say that Dragon Age is the first RPG game I ever played. I should reiterate, it was the first RPG game I ever played to completion. This game, I freaking loved this game when I played it, but the second disc was scratched to hell, and I never got out of the city during the nighttime. I can't remember where it was, but it kept freezing up on me, and I was never able to complete this game, and I'm really bummed out about it. But this game had ambition, it had tragedy, and it was some of the most iconic transformations in JRPG history. It was pretty much crushed under the marketing of PlayStation 1's limitations, as well as Final Fantasy, but I feel like a full-scale remake could bring it back with the cinematic storytelling, a revamped combat system. Even if you just do the turn-based combat, we see with Clair Obscur that completely works, and if we see that with Legend of Dragoon, that would be pretty cool. And the soundtrack I remember in that game was pretty good, and just imagining all this being modernized, I really want this game to be done. I think it's not overdue. It's a resurrection waiting to happen, and I think that a lot of JRPG fans will probably be in agreement. This game was so fun, and I'm so mad that I still haven't been able to complete this game. So that's it. That's all I have to say about the games that I would like to see remade or remastered. Let me know in the comments what you would like to see remade or remastered. Do you agree with my list? Is there anything that you would like to add to the list? What would you like to see remastered? It could be a top 10, it could be a top 5, it could be a top 20. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you liked the video, leave a like for me. If you did not like the video, thank you so much for sticking around for so long. Please subscribe if you want to. I have hit 20 subscribers. Holy cow. It just keeps getting better. I really appreciate you guys. I am not a very interesting person. I know how I talk. So I could probably be a bit insufferable at times, I think. But I never thought I'd hit this. I really appreciate you guys. I do all this for fun, but seeing that subscriber count go up, it really warms my heart and makes me want to keep on going. So thank you guys so much for that. I really appreciate that. But yeah, that's pretty much all I want to say. Thank you again so much. I'm going to go ahead and go. I'm still talking. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.